Now I'd like to hear the report of the CSSA. Mia Kagianas.
Thanks, Chair Day, and good morning, everyone. As always, CSSA is thankful for the opportunity to speak and share some updates with all of you on behalf of our students. So our board has been hard at work, taking stances on bills and launching our yearly advocacy efforts. Next week, our student leaders from across the state will be joining our campus leadership in Washington, D.C. for Hill Day. And thank you to everyone in this room who has helped make that possible for our students to be a part of those meetings, where they will be paramount to our CSU advocacy in painting a picture of what it looks like to attend the CSU. Recently, our board of directors passed resolutions concerning undocumented student support, safety for students of color and justice for Josiah, and CSU executive compensation. As you heard from student speakers yesterday, students are interested in AB 930, which ensures that executive compensation is not increased in the same year that tuition is. Our CSSA board's resolution asks that CSU leadership consider raises based on the merits of performance once the CSU has secured sustainable funding. Additionally, last week, CSSA hosted our 24th annual CHESS conference, which stands for the California Higher Education Student Summit, where hundreds of CSU students came to Sacramento for our advocacy conference paired with a lobby day. We distributed these piggy banks to legislators, and we have piggy banks for board members today. Just so you know, when you put a coin in them, the tail goes up, so I encourage you all to do so. Technically, our CHESS conference is actually older than I am, and it's been a long tradition of our students to come together with heart and spirit to advocate for the needs of our students for so many years. So I don't use the word spirit lightly, seeing as that we had a very contentious and highly anticipated campus spirit competition, of which Cal State East Bay were the victors. As you can see, our students are proud to be in the CSU and are ready to share our stories with heart. And it should be no surprise to any of you that college affordability is a conversation that requires plenty of heart and understanding, which we have made our priority this year. When dealing with the issues of affordability, no group is more familiar with the complexities, gaps, and problems with our current financial aid system than the recipients of this aid. We know a majority of our students receive aid and pay no tuition. However, those same students take out debt at higher rates, as well as suffer through homelessness and food insecurity. These should be signs to everyone that our financial aid system is currently not meeting the needs of our lowest income students. Our students' advocacy, led by myself and CSSA and our Fix Financial Aid campaign, may have created some confusion within our institution, and I hope that my report can clarify and spark some partnership. So to begin, being a college student today is not what it was 10, 20, 30 years ago. The way I like to think of being a college student today is similar to the I Love Lucy Chocolate Factory episode. For those of you who aren't familiar with this episode, Lucy and Ethel biting off a little bit more than they can chew to get a job at a candy factory to make money and prove themselves. They end up fighting a losing battle with a conveyor belt of chocolates. Well, Lucy and Ethel manage just fine until the conveyor belt unanticipatedly speeds up out of their control. Lucy calls out to Ethel, I think we're fighting a losing game, as candies fall to the ground and they hide them in their caps. But for many of our students, myself included, college can feel like a battle against a conveyor belt, trying to keep ourselves ahead of the next candy that needs wrapping, in a seemingly never-ending stream. Unfortunately, we can't hide the candies under our caps. Candies for us come in the form of rent payments, midterms, car payments, employers we've committed time to, and family obligations. And as a Greek girl from the suburbs of Chicago, I can say that family obligations are real and bring many guilt trips if they are not met. So as you all heard yesterday, students feel that the conversation occurring in the Capitol regarding financial aid are urgent and require active engagement and advocacy. This past fall, we've observed the many conversations on financial aid happening in Sacramento and grew really concerned that without significant institutional leadership in these conversations, our Cal State students would be left out of any major reforms to the Cal Grant. We looked for potential partners to join us in our advocacy and found that the only groups receptive to this partnership and advocacy were the two other statewide student associations, the UC Student Association and the State Senate of California Community Colleges. We work together to create the following platform goals that we can all agree to, and I'll share those 4 goals with you now. So number 1, more of the total cost of college should be covered by financial aid through a combination of the Pell Grant, the Cal Grant, and the State University Grant, which is specific to the CSU, of course. Number 2 is that more students who demonstrate significant financial need should be able to receive state aid by reducing and eliminating eligibility barriers, specifically in the competitive Cal Grant program, some of those age restrictions and things of that sort. 3, students looking to take summer courses should be able to receive state aid to help cover the cost of those courses. And 4, and finally, while we work to fix financial aid, the basic needs challenges of our students must be addressed now, so that our homeless and hungry students can get the immediate help that they need. Now, one would look at these reforms and see if they were fully implemented, it would be a very large $2 billion price tag, and think that students such as Mia here asking for these things are being unreasonable and perhaps unrealistic, and maybe even greedy. So we disagree. Put simply, our student-led agenda merely advocates the same principles that the California Student Aid Commission has prioritized, as well as this board's basic needs request. If these things are reasonable and realistic for these credible bodies, then we believe our advocacy for these goals are as well. CSSA and I are excited to see CSU leadership acknowledge these issues. We have read the letter sent in November of 2018 by Chancellor White and President Janet Napolitano, illustrating the institutional perspective on financial aid. We have seen CSU representation at committee hearings in the legislature regarding financial aid, and it looks like we're all saying very similar things. And this is me trying to practice as best I can brutal and honest leadership. Words and actions are 2 completely separate things. At our count, there are approximately 31 bills in the legislature currently regarding Cal Grant, 2 of which are sponsored by the University of California and the California Community Colleges. It is now March, and there's no legislative proposal by the CSU regarding financial aid, nor based on the Government Relations Committee from yesterday, has the CSU taken a position on any of the 31 bills regarding Cal Grant. As you heard from student testimonies yesterday in public comment, legislators are waiting for the CSU to actively engage. We, the students, are not experts on how advocacy works. We are not experts on the legislative process or how that works. I'm an entrepreneurship major, not poli-sci. However, what we, the students, and myself are experts on is our experience. And for the last decade, we have stood alongside the chancellor, his staff, our faculty, and all of you on this board and other stakeholders each year to do CSU budget advocacy. We have participated in every meeting and briefing, an event we have been invited to in hopes of convincing our state leaders to do a very specific thing, invest more into the CSU. And we have jointly created campaigns with you all, like Choose CSU, Stand with CSU, and Made in the CSU. We have seen what it looks like when our institution truly advocates for something. And this year, this is not the case. We have not seen the proactive partnership of the institution towards us, the students, that we have celebrated in the past. And frankly, we don't quite understand why addressing students' financial hardships is where the line is drawn in partnered advocacy. I know this is no quick fix, and hope that we all can lean into the conversation rather than mark this unmet need as merely just pending. To end with some optimism, I envision a day where I look back on the CSU as an alum, to see campus food pantries created by student government associations lose foot traffic and become obsolete. The day where the future CSSA president, who occupies this role, can have healthy discourse regarding academic policies and not about student vitality and partnership. Financial aid reform is where the wind is blowing. It is where the tides are pulling. It is where the conveyor belt is taking our institution. Now it's time for us to wrap the candies. I do believe that all of you here today care about this issue of financial aid. I know that out of everyone in this state, we are the ones to make this happen together. I ask for your partnership in helping us fix financial aid and putting some money in the piggy bank for our students. Thank you, Chair Day.
Thank you, Mia, for another wonderful and excellent report. Today's a day for me to go off script, so I'll go off script again and just let you know that I'm confident this board will be with you addressing your number one need. And we appreciate your past support of this board's priorities, and we'll continue to work with you and stand with you on financial aid. I will just say that you don't want to hashtag FFA, because then the future farmers of America are going to get confused. But fixed financial aid is a great motto. So thank you for your report.